Sis, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever felt like you know you're meant for more? More money, more ease, more love, more impact. But no matter how much you work, journal, affirm, and visualize, your life keeps circling the same level. Like you're growing, but you're not breaking through. And it's frustrating because you're not lazy, you're not unaware, you're not doing nothing, you're doing the work, you're healing, you're learning, you're evolving. So why does it feel like you're living just below the life you desire for yourself? If that hit, stay with me because this conversation is about identity. Identity as the internal operating system that quietly decides what you're available for. Here's what we're doing today. I'm going to show you what upgrading your identity is not so you can stop trying to become confident in ways that feel fake or exhausting. Identity actually is in your body and nervous system, not just in your thoughts. Why trying to jump into a higher self too fast creates self-sabotage, and how identity upgrades actually happen in a way that feels stable, natural, and magnetic. How flow actually feels in your body, so you stop confusing survival urgency with alignment. How to expand your container step by step so you can receive and sustain more without spiraling. And practical integration cues you can use immediately, especially around money. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming safe enough to be who you already are. So identity doesn't live in your vision board. It's not hiding in your affirmations either. Identity lives in your nervous system. It lives in what feels normal to you, what feels safe, what your body is used to, even when your mind wants something different. That's why you can want more money, but still feel weird actually spending it. Like you finally have it, but you're tense instead of relieved. Why you want a healthy relationship, but when things are calm, you feel bored, uneasy, or low-key anxious. Because peace feels strange when chaos is what you know. Why you want visibility or success, but right when things start moving, you procrastinate, overthink, or pull back. And you're like, why am I doing this right now? Your mind wants the upgrade. It's excited. It gets it. It's ready. But your body is like, hold on, this isn't what we're used to. So when life starts offering you more money, more love, more attention, your nervous system does a quick check and asks, is this actually safe for me? And if the answer isn't a full yes yet, your system doesn't sabotage you. It just nudges you back to what feels familiar and safe. That's identity. Not who you want to be, who your body already knows how to be. So let's define this clearly, but in a way that actually makes sense in real life. Your identity is the version of you your nervous system knows how to live as without feeling stressed or on edge. It's how safe your body feels with ease. It's what your system expects your days to feel like. Your relationships, your money, your pace, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. And yes, even the hard things can feel safe to your nervous system. Even stress, even pressure, even chaos. Because safe doesn't mean good. Safe just means familiar. For a lot of us, that familiarity started early on. Not in some dramatic, big way, just in small, repeatable moments. Learning to stay alert, learning to stay responsible, learning to keep it together. So your nervous system got really good at functioning in motion, solving, managing, pushing, holding everything together. That became your baseline. Which is why when life finally slows down, when there's nothing urgent to fix, Nothing pressing, nothing on fire. Your body doesn't relax. It gets restless. Not because you're broken, because stillness feels unfamiliar to a system that learns safety through doing. That's why some people can relax inside abundance, while others tense up the moment things start going well. Why calm, healthy love feels normal to some and unsettling to others. Why rest feels nourishing for one person and uncomfortable for someone who's used to pushing. So, for example, you might really want more money, but if your body has learned that money equals pressure, responsibility, or survival, ease won't feel natural yet. It'll feel like something you have to manage instead of enjoy. So even when opportunities show up, your system stays on edge. Spending feels stressful, success feels heavy, rest feels unsafe. That's identity. Not who you say you are, who your body is used to being. And until your nervous system updates what feels normal, it will keep pulling you back to the level of ease, love, and capacity it knows how to hold without freaking out. So here's the key, and this matters. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what feels familiar. When abundance still feels unfamiliar, your system isn't sabotaging you. It just is steering you back to what it recognizes, trying to keep you safe. That's why when things start going well, you might notice yourself slipping into old patterns, working harder than you need to, staying busy instead of present, hovering just below the breakthrough. Not because you can't handle more, but because stress and effort are what your body learned to associate with safety. And this is also why affirmations alone don't work. You can say, I'm safe. I am abundant. I trust life. But if your nervous system hasn't experienced that safety yet, those words don't land as truth. They land as pressure. Your mind might repeat them, but your body is still scanning for what could go wrong. So instead of confidence, you feel tension. Instead of expansion, you feel resistance. Instead of belief, it feels like you're lying to yourself. That's not failure, sis. That's conditioning doing exactly what it is designed to do. And the moment you understand that, the shame starts to soften. Because nothing about this means you're broken. It just means your body hasn't learned yet that it's safe to be here. And this is why so many people say, I don't know why I keep self-sabotaging. Because from the outside, that's what it looks like. Things are moving, and then you pull back. Opportunities show up, and suddenly you're tired, distracted, second-guessing yourself. But most of the time, you're not sabotaging yourself at all. Your nervous system is just doing what it was designed to do, keeping you within an identity it knows how to manage. So when things start stretching beyond what feels familiar, more money, more attention, more ease, more support, your system looks for ways to bring you back to center, back to the pace it knows, back to the pressure it recognizes, back to the patterns that feel predictable and safe. That might look like procrastinating right when things get real, overworking when you don't need to, staying busy instead of staying present. Not because you're afraid of success, but because your body hasn't learned yet that it's safe to be there. And this is why upgrading your identity isn't about forcing yourself to act like someone else. It's not about pretending to be confident or pushing yourself into a higher self before your body is ready. It's about gently expanding what your nervous system learns it can hold. More money without stress, more calm without restlessness, more visibility without pain. That's how identity actually upgrades. Not through force, but through safety. Now, let's talk about flow, because flow is one of the most misunderstood words on the internet. Flow isn't hype. It isn't adrenaline. It isn't go, go, go energy. Flow is the feeling of your nervous system being online and safe while you move. It's the sensation of space inside your body. Your breath deepens without you forcing it. Your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, your mind gets quieter, not empty, just less frantic. You stop scanning for danger. You stop rehearsing worst case scenarios. You do the next step without needing pressure to push you. It feels steady, clear, grounded, like I can handle this. And if your version of flow feels like gripping, rushing, obsessing, spiraling, or needing immediate results to feel okay, well, then that's not flow. That's control. Here's a money-specific example. Flow with money feels like receiving and staying present in your body. It's being able to look at your bank account without your stomach dropping. It's making a purchase decision without panic, guilt, or punishment. It's holding money without needing to get rid of it immediately just to feel safe again. It's trusting your next step without needing certainty first. So here's what actually is getting in the way. And this is the part where a lot of people end up being really hard on themselves. When you jump into affirmations, your body doesn't actually believe yet. It doesn't create confidence. It creates tension. You're saying the words, but your system is braced the whole time. When you try to act like her, while part of you still feels like an imposter, good old imposter syndrome, your nervous system stays on edge because it feels like you're pretending instead of being. And when you shame yourself for not being ready fast enough, for not getting there already, it just reinforces the idea that something is wrong with you. Every time you try to leap into a new identity without building safety first, your nervous system does exactly what it knows how to do. It pulls you back, not to punish you, not to ruin things, but to protect you. That's why so many people get stuck in cycles. A burst of growth, followed by burnout. A wave of confidence, followed by doubt. The shift doesn't stick when it's forced, and identity upgrade has to be integrated, not imposed. So how does identity actually up? Well, not through big declarations or dramatic leaps. It happens through consistency, through repetition, through safety, through lived experience in your body. Let me make that part even clearer. Identity upgrades happen through micro shifts, tiny choices that feel almost too small to count, but your nervous system counts them as. Every time you respond differently than you used to, you're teaching your body a new normal. Not one big moment, 100 small ones. Repetition is what turns I can do this into this is who I am. And proof is what turns belief into my body knows. Your identity starts to shift when your nervous system has new proof to work with. When your body experiences something different and realizes, oh, I didn't get overwhelmed and I didn't fall apart. When your system learns that more ease, more support, more visibility, more money doesn't automatically mean danger. And when your brain starts collecting evidence that calm can exist without everything going wrong. So let's make this real. With money, it might look like this. You receive a little extra income, a stipend, or a bonus, and you notice the urgency to immediately spend it, stress about it, or overthink every single decision. But instead of panicking, you pause. You let it sit. You let your body feel what it's like to have more without rushing to get rid of it. That moment matters more than 1,000 affirmations, because every time you receive without guilt, rest without feeling anxious, or hold more without spiraling, your identity quietly updates. Not because you forced confidence, not because you tried to become that girl, but because your body learned, I can be here. And once your body knows that, Staying at the old level stops making sense. Now, here's the difference between forcing and integrating, especially with money. Forcing sounds like, I got paid, I need to act like a rich person. So you spend fast, you buy something big, you move money just to prove you're not scared anymore. But inside your body, your chest is tight, your stomach is clenched, your mind is loud, you're not enjoying the money. You're trying to get rid of the discomfort it brought up. That is not expansion. That's trying to outrun nervous system activation. Integration looks very different. You get paid, you notice the activation, the excitement, the fear, the urge to do something. You just notice. And instead of reacting, you stay present. You breathe. You let the money sit. You let your body feel what it's like to have more without immediately doing anything about it. Then you make one calm, grounded choice. Not to prove anything, but because it actually feels right. Maybe you save some. Maybe you spend a little. Maybe you just let it be. And that's the upgrade. Integration is when your nervous system can hold more money without needing to escape it, rush it, or get rid of it. Let's make this practical, because identity work only matters if you can actually feel it in real life. An identity upgrade usually doesn't look dramatic. It's not some big moment where everything changes overnight. Most of the time, it looks really simple. It looks like choosing to slow down when you're used to rushing, letting things unfold instead of forcing them, allowing consistency where you used to rely on intensity. It's the quiet choice to regulate instead of react, to feel safe instead of needing to prove, to trust instead of bracing for impact. And integration is the part where you repeat the same new choice just long enough that your body stops arguing with it. Integration looks like you don't just have one regulated moment, you practice regulated moments until your baseline changes. You don't just touch peace, you teach your body how to live there. You don't just receive once, you build the capacity to receive repeatedly without collapse. And over time, you start to notice something shift. You expect things to work out instead of automatically preparing for disappointment. You stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. You no longer need to chase chaos or pressure. You just feel productive or alive. And at first, that can feel uncomfortable, even boring, because when you've lived in survival mode, peace doesn't feel exciting. It feels unfamiliar. Your next level might feel quiet. No adrenaline, no hustle, no urgency, just steadiness. And that steadiness is exactly what allows more money, more love, and more opportunity to not only come in, but stay. This is the work of expanding your capacity, learning how to hold more without overwhelm. Because manifestation isn't just about attracting. It's about whether your nervous system has the container to receive and sustain what arrives. And that container can expand. So here's the step-by-step container expansion teaching. Practical, real life, and repeatable. So step 1, notice the activation. Name what happens when more touches your life. Tight chest, racing thoughts, urgency, shutdown. Become the awareness. Step 2, you're going to regulate first and decide second. Take 3 slower exhales, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, put both feet on the floor grounded. Your only job is to get your body back to safe enough before you take action. Step 3, hold the more for a moment longer than you used to. If it's money, let it sit in your account. If it's praise, let it land without deflecting. If it's support, Receive without over-explaining or feeling like you need to give back. Step 4, make one grounded choice that matches the new identity. Not 10, 1. A calm money decision, a boundary, a slower pace, a consistent habit. Step 5, track your proof. Collect evidence. I held more and I was okay. I rested and nothing collapsed. I received and stayed present. And step 6, repeat until it's normal. That is the upgrade. Repetition until your nervous system stops labeling more as danger. And here are practical integration cues you can try immediately, like right after this video. Cue 1 is for your body. Where do I feel more in my body? Put a hand there. Breathe into that area for a few minutes. Cue 2 is for safety. What would make this feel 5% safer? Not 100%, just 5%. That's how your system learns. Cue 3 is for pacing. What would it look like to move one notch slower and still be? For me, I decided instead of putting my foot to the gas and rushing everywhere, I just move slow. Millionaires move slow. Cue 4 for money. Can I let this money sit for 24 hours without making it mean something? Cue 5 is for proof. What is one piece of evidence today that I can hold more? Write it down. Your brain learns through receipts. In the next 2 videos, we're going deeper. First, we're talking about the frequency of flow, because flow is what makes expansion possible. You cannot expand your container if your body doesn't know how to slow down, soften, and stay regulated when things get quiet. Then I'll walk you through how to actually expand your container, how to increase your capacity to receive and hold more. More money, more love, more ease, more visibility, more support, without overwhelm, collapse, or self-sabotage. Because expansion doesn't begin with more. So make sure to subscribe so you can catch those videos. It begins with safety. And once your system knows it's safe, receiving stops feeling risky and starts feeling natural. So tell me in the comments, where in your life are you learning how to feel safe with more right now? You don't upgrade your identity by becoming someone else. And you do not do it by pretending you're more confident, more healed, or more together than you actually feel. Your identity changes through what you practice and what your body learns to tolerate. It changes when you repeatedly choose regulation over urgency, when you allow more ease without rushing to fill the space, when you hold a little bit more money, a little bit more visibility, a little bit more support without panicking, when you respond differently in moments that used to trigger old patterns. Those small, embodied choices are what rewrite your identity. Once your identity changes, your outer world has no choice but to reflect it. By law, reality organizes around identity. Your decisions shift, your standards change, what you tolerate, pursue, and attract updates automatically. Your expectation and your minimum standard, it raises. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer operating from the same internal baseline. That's why identity work is permanent. You don't manifest a new life. You become the version of you that lives it. And when that happens, your external reality adjusts to match who you are now. That's the work. That's the shift. Plain and simple. And that's why this kind of glow up actually lasts. If this video resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to learn how to expand your container to receive. And if you're ready to do this work in a grounded, embodied way, where your nervous system, subconscious, and energy all move together, join me for my free masterclass, The 10 Codes of Manifestation. Because when your identity upgrades, everything else reorganizes around it. And sis, Once your system learns it's safe to be more, there's no going back. Not because you force change, but because your body has experienced a new normal. So I'll see you next Wednesday. That's when we're going to talk about how to expand your container, how to increase your capacity to hold more money, more ease, and more support without overwhelm. Until then, let this land.